Page 10, Sweet Rosie O'Grady. It's another song you can sing. The key word there is you can sing. I ain't singing, you can sing. I would like to suggest a few little things. I'm going to start with the right hand. For the most part, I like their fingering and everything. It's fine. Till I get down to the third line on page 10. Now, you're finishing the second line on page 10 with a second finger on that F. That's held out for 6 counts, right? It's tied. And they're saying go ahead and leave it there and use the second finger again. I'm suggesting you put the thumb on the F, the dotted half note F, first note and the third line. Use thumb there. And then put the second finger on the next F. I just like using different fingers on different notes when I can, and I can here. Because I'm got fourth finger on the A, but then in the third measure, I'm going to put fifth finger on that A. Okay? Last line for that A, they're saying fourth finger. I suggest fifth finger. So use fourth finger on the next note. Page 11, third line down. First measure is okay. Second measure, I recommend a 4-3. Bring the second finger down to the D and thumb on the C. That way I don't have to cross over, right? And the rest of it, just play it as it comes. Now the left hand has a lot, these are just primary chords, right? To accommodate what the left hand is doing with the 5-7, it's going from a 1 to 5-7 a lot. And to accommodate that, I typically will use a 4 for the one chord. I'll use a 4 and then a 2-1 because that accommodates that. You can experiment with that and see what you think. I just find it easier than use little finger on both of those. And that's what I'm suggesting you do here is use fourth finger when you on the one chord in this piece, pretty much throughout the whole piece. I would like to make one minor suggestion in the left hand as far as fingering goes, other than using the fourth on the one chord. And that is at the bottom of page 10, the last measure. Because typically you would play the last measure with a 1, 2, 3. Then on the next measure you have that one chord. You're here, you need a one chord. That is awkward, all right, going from. So I'm recommending, to accommodate that you finger the last measure with a 1, then contract your hand, 4, 5. And now you're in position to go on. So the last 2 measures there in both hands is here. Now, as typical in a 3/4 time, what I typically do, and they don't mark anything, so I'm just kind of, it's an interpretive thing. It's up to you how you do it. I will play the first 2 beats in the left hand connected, and then I'll play the disconnected. It reinforces the natural accent, which is the first beat of the measure. Now, you don't have to play them staccato. I typically do because it's easier, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can play them staccato. You see, when the arranger doesn't give you any information, interpret it as you want to. Experiment, see what you think. That's how I do it. And that's how I suggest you do it here pretty much throughout this whole piece. Now, when you get down to the bottom of page 10, the last 2 measures, obviously you can't do that because you have that, they're connected. It's a phrase, and you got that swell in there. You're going to get louder and softer. Okay, both hands together there. Otherwise, you're back to this. Now, at the end, last couple measures, you're here. You're going to connect those. They're slurred. There. Got to watch the hands there because you're going from here to here. You may have to practice that move. Now, as far as the pedaling goes, my opinion, it's better off without pedal because we're setting a tone here with this feel. like to have that bump, bump, bump throughout, and the pedal screws that up. Now, when you get to the last measure, the first line like that, there I would connect them. I wouldn't duo. Connect them there. But I don't need the pedal. So I am recommending you simply leave the pedal out in this piece. You don't need it. If you were to need it at all, it would be at the very end. But since you did the rest of the piece without pedal, to suddenly add it in at the end changes the atmosphere of the piece too much. So just leave out the pedal. I'm going to play this slowly, and maybe you can play it along with me if you want to. And we'll see. I'll give us 3 counts. If you want to play along, play along. Here we go. And I'm not going to use pedal. No. 1, ready, go.